4. I just kicked the table, so it definitely messed up the mic. But welcome to episode number 4. We're
gonna be doing what mistakes owner operators do, or drivers,
owner operators in general. I think it bleeds into because if you're thinking about buying a truck and you're a driver,
you got to start planning ahead.
Those are the things you should totally plan ahead. So, all right, budget. Having a structure and a budget in place. So,
fuel per month, like fuel expenses,
monthly expenses, pretty much.
Yeah,
right?
Make a list of all your monthly expenses.
Maintenance, oil, cash reserves,
plates, right. Insurance. We're forgetting it all.
Yeah. So anything really your fixed and variable expenses. How much am I gonna spend a month, and how much do I have to make? Because that's gonna determine what are you gonna do and how much you're gonna drive.
Yeah.
Because the number one thing owners say, I'm not gonna pull cheap freight.
Yeah. That's number one. Everybody says it.
Yeah. Right.
But at some point, I believe you're gonna have to do.
Yeah, and if you're deadheading, are you gonna deadhead from a crappy area, or are you gonna find something for $1.10 that gets you out of the crappy area?
Yeah.
Right. So, it's understanding lanes. I mean, that's probably I had it written down somewhere here in my notes. Because the mistakes of owners and drivers is. When you're driving and thinking about a truck, when I drove, what I thought was like, okay, where am I at? Like, what's the area that I'm in a lot, right? And the big guys know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
There's a reason why they're big.
Yeah. And not watching and not looking where how the network is moving and how the fleet is, what areas are they servicing is a big loss, because you can learn a lot from that when you go into your own.
When you're on your own,
yeah. So we jumped ahead here, but definitely the expenses are something. So strict budget. Budget gives you a structure that will allow you to understand exactly what you have to make and what your gross revenue should be a month.
Yeah.
And then how much you can keep from that, right? But I would even go further and say personal budget, right? Because if you're overspending and you have a life that requires you to make a lot of money and you just spend,
you just really can't afford it.
Yeah. Putting it back in so like if your personal budget is out of whack and you're spending a lot versus investing in your business and you're investing in your savings to buy a truck and building that capital,
then it's really not going to work out. I wouldn't recommend going into the business.
Yeah.
As an owner operator, it's going to be.
But that's what I've seen is
everybody's like, oh, I'm going to be owner op. I'm going to be making big money.
Yeah.
But obviously there's more expenses.
And they're trying to start it at almost no budget, and then it's almost guaranteed they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Because they're not prepped for sitting down or low freight or being in an area that's crap and you can get out of it.
Well, you always get that slow season too, and they're not ready for that. They do the math to peak season.
Yeah. So that's definitely important to start with that personal spending and personal budget to see where your behaviors are and how you're spending and what matters
you need to watch out,
right? Because obviously we all have kids and kids are the most important thing, but if you have crazy spending habits, it's going to be super hard to put away the capital for you to survive and plan. Oftentimes, you're getting paid a lot later as an owner, so you have to take that into consideration. Fuel,
especially starting off, it's going to take a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for the wheels to spin. So, so structured plan is our number one. Another item. If you don't have one, it's a matter of time when you're going to go out of business, right? And like to extend, people say have your business plan, have your plan. Well, it might not turn out exactly how you're planning, but at least having that core structure and
where you want to be at
is super important, and having kind of a framework or an outline to kind of give you advantage in starting, because again you have to treat it as a business, buying your own truck and thinking in categories of this is a business. I need to treat it like a business and
definitely.
not just bigger income.
Knowing what kind of work you will be doing.
Yeah, which we just saw in episode.
So number 3, we went through it roughly.
We talked about it. That's definitely something that
to keep in consideration. Yeah.
And I'm trying to give my angle on it, like intermodal versus OTR. A lot of the expectations I see from owners, and in general drivers thinking what they can make regionally, locally versus OTR is out of the roof, right? Yeah. Supply and demand is a normal, it also applies in trucking, because if you have so many guys trying to be home every day, the rates are lower.
Oh yeah,
right.
And not many guys actually want to go over the road.
Yeah, and that's the number one thing is,
especially with kids, family. You want to
be home
daily.
And I totally get that, but you have to budget for it and plan for it.
Yeah,
and be very smart about what is it that puts other guys running regionally out of business, and what not to do to get there.
Yeah,
like how
to avoid.
Talk to people that are doing it for a long time, and but that's. Any guy that you're going to talk about that's running regionally doing this is going to tell you just be frugal as hell.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think you have that angle, and I've had that angle with when I started, and with my dad, he was super frugal, right? And that's where it comes is, like, you need to think of the next downturn coming, the next slowdown. And that's
you always got to plan ahead.
Yeah. I've had so many guys hitting me right now for as little advertising we do, I had a significant amount of guys coming and asking, expecting the same things they were getting last year. I'm like, guys,
no, it's not happening this time around.
Just kind of
go with the flow.
Yeah, but even talk to people around you, and you see it, and the flow of how everything is happening is just like,
everybody's
that should
affected.
tell you a lot.
Yeah, everybody's affected. It's not just wherever you're at.
Yeah, if you're trying to change companies in 1 year 4 times, it's not
obviously
that's
not the issue.
Yeah, it's the market. Next one is no capital, no savings, right? So it's pretty much along the same route that we've been talking about. What do you think is like the minimum savings you should have aside?
I would say at least 10K.
10K plus maintenance.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think so. Having that reserve capital of 10K, I would say, is minimum.
At the
maintenance.
least.
Maintenance, what, another 10?
Let's not scare the guys away. Let's say 5. I mean, but yeah, I mean, because
the
more the better. But let's be realistic. I mean, you have company drivers. I mean, it all depends on how you're managing your money. If you're managing your money good, obviously you can have that, no problem. If you're poorly spending, then it's going to be a tough one for you to have that amount.
But I mean, you got to hustle to create more income and then put it away, right? Like, I mean, it's not going to be easy just doing your 9 to 5 and it doesn't exist.
No, it's not going to work out. No,
right? You have to understand. You have to work overtime so you can put that
additional
money aside. And I've had, in my experience, oftentimes drivers running less than 5 years, and they're trying to buy a truck. I'm like, it's not gonna work.
Right.
I hate when drivers are coming up with their ideas in their head about, it's gonna work. Because I've known owners that it worked, but they hustle like crazy and they drive. And
you can't be lazy in this business.
Yeah, and working 4 days because I have to do something. It's like, I get it, but at the same time, if work isn't that important to you, or making money isn't to support your family isn't that important,
then what is?
Then what is? Then you're not definitely gonna succeed in trucking.
Yeah, because you're not gonna be 100% dedicated to it.
Yeah, a commitment.
Yeah.
Right? It hurts me when I have guys struggling with it, because it's all the prep and all the, that's why we're doing this. It's creating more resources and another knowledge, to have them more knowledge around that and share the experience and kind of create more value in that space, because I think there's not a lot of it in the industry.
No, there isn't. No.
Right now. And I think with autonomous trucks coming, it's so not sexy to be a truck driver, which is to me is completely ridiculous because it's such a cool job. It's hard, but I think it's really cool to drive. I don't know. I always found it very. I love driving long distance, right? So that was a lot easier. And but the thing is, like, truckers don't have a bad rap because all the talk about, money's one thing. Second, autonomous trucks and all that stuff. But the autonomous trucks are coming because there's not enough drivers, and that's a separate topic we can talk about. But it is what you make it to be, right? If you make it
if you make it fun, it's gonna be fun,
Yeah, and I've known plenty of guys that were healthy, and it's freaking tough because the bad habits around driving, eating, and
smoking.
Plus, the number one thing is access to good food sucks. Like if you're
especially over the road. What is there?
Yeah, you can't.
It's basically all fast food. And
yeah. Which you're starting to see some truck stops are introducing something,
they are.
But it's like it's still not
enough
where it should be. Yeah. So what I did when I drove, just to kind of experience share for a second, I would order either make food, my wife would make food, or I would order from a restaurant that would already came packaged, and I would just take it with me, and I would have it for a day or two, and then I would have to eat garbage. But then on the way back, or when I was back here, I would have either something delivered, or which is cool because you can do Grubhub and all those things. And I don't know if they deliver to parking lots though. I think
it's gonna be probably sketchy for those guys.
Yeah. But that almost like a business idea, man.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you like so many trucks on the road, we deliver.
Oh, dude, that'd be fucking amazing.
Too. Yeah. I'm gonna have to edit that. But it's so funny how lack of good nutrition is, and then that like fatigue and all that stuff. And we completely went to a different topic, which is crazy because that could be a topic on itself.
There's a lot of topics.
Yeah. But for sure. Next thing
would be network.
Yeah, networking and people around you and relationships, right? Starting from your banker, your wife, if you don't have a good relationship with your wife. I mean,
especially if you're going to be over the road, you got to have a good relationship with the wife.
Yeah, I'm assuming because I think my relationship with my wife was the basis for everything because we started having kids, and I have 4 kids, so it's like
you guys should have a goal where you guys want to be at.
That goal, one thing, but what is it that you're getting? Because you have 3 kids.
Yeah, I have 3 kids.
What are you getting? What is the number one thing you're getting from your wife that allows you to go and hustle?
I would say she always supports me in what I support. Exactly, she always supports me in if I have an idea to do something, boom.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was waiting for you to say. I was like, you're gonna say support. It's exactly what I get from my wife, and in general my family, right? Because if you don't get that support,
then you're always gonna be afraid, or you don't want to take that risk.
Yeah, and the number one thing to take it to the other side is my experience with owners is because my wife needs me to be home. Like then
I think we all need to be home.
Yeah, we all need to be home, right? But that's the agreement that you need to establish, and that relationship. What is it that we want together?
Yeah,
whether a couple, and then as a network around you, what is it that what people you're surrounding yourself with? Because
if you have bad vibes, then it's not going to work out for
you. You said it, that you exactly said it right. It's the support that you're getting, and that's what gives you a lot of times. That's what gives you courage.
That's what pushes you. It gives you the motivation.
Yeah,
got somebody backing you up.
Because the number one thing you're afraid of is failing.
Failure
is something that's inevitable. You will always.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. But how you deal with it and what you tell yourself in your head is the key element, right? And what I like about some of the owners that I've seen on going back to the owner angle here and driver is that some guys failed and they never want to talk about trucks again because it messed them up so bad.
Really bad.
I get it, but some guys will do I'll go buy another one. But then I ask them, what did you learn from the first experience? Because if you don't learn from that first experience,
then you're gonna fail again.
But maybe you learn the second time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm never gonna. I don't give up, and I wouldn't want. I'm if I see somebody's really wanting to do it, then they'll figure it out after 4 or 5 times. All power to you, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point. But if you can afford it,
Well, if you have a goal, if you really want to make that happen, you're gonna make it happen.
yeah, small failures for sure that will get you to where you want to be, and like I say, don't bet the house, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't try not to bet the house, which is you're gonna risk everything, but fail so we can learn from that and move on.
Yeah, you're gonna learn
and
from the
grow.
mistakes.
That's where you grow. Network, relationships, shop, obviously, mechanics,
Yeah.
Bankers, towing companies.
There's gonna be breakdowns,
There's going to be breakdowns, but that's
and it's part of the business.
Yeah, that's a little difficult if you're OTR, but regionally,
That's costly tolls.
Yeah, regionally you can definitely create a relationship. Anybody in general that's involved in any way in your business, I think giving back in any way to them and being grateful or appreciate, like, that's my angle. Like, I'm very grateful for my network, and I've worked on it, and I think understanding that it's creating win-win situations for everybody. Because if you only look for things for yourself,
it's not gonna work out.
Everybody's gonna sense it.
Yeah,
right.
They're gonna send you off. They're gonna be like, no, dude.
Yeah, which like I mentioned that Cole before, like, I knew that guy was just so about himself. I'm just like, man, like, this is not how this is gonna work.
Right.
And respectfully, and like, ended the conversation. But creating win-win situations is definitely, like, admitting. How many guys did you have in the shop that would pretend that they know?
Well, good handful of them.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's okay if you don't know, man. Like, just talk to me. And
we'll help them out. We'll guide them.
And I'll like, because look, for me especially with my language barrier and things, like, things sometimes don't register, and I'm so open-minded about that around people. It's like, okay, he just might not get it, and I'll explain it to him, right?
Yeah.
But or for whatever reason, but it's interesting how you see how they're afraid to be judged, or how they're afraid to be, you don't know that.
Yeah.
Because that's what people do, right?
Yeah.
And I caught myself doing that a few times, but it's just like, it's so stupid. Like, just, if you don't know, ask. And I think that if you find the right person, it's only gonna
be better for you.
Yeah. What else? You want to add anything else? Big guys following market. We got the network, relationships.
I think we got everything pretty much covered.
I think. Yeah. Let's recap really quick. Some mistakes owner-operators do. So not budgeting.
Personal budget. But yeah, it's under the budget.
Personal budget and obviously business
budgeting.
Cash, capital, lack of capital, lack of plan, goals, structure.
Support.
Lack of understanding the type of work that you want to do with that.
Yeah.
And network and relationships. Not maybe a lack, but maybe not paying enough attention to, because it's relationships are everything.
Yeah.
So, thinking you can do it on your own.
No, you're not.
Not a good idea. So, awesome. Good job, man.
All right.
Thank you.